Hi guys. I don't know about you, but I definitely feel that it's time to break out the ice cream sandwiches. They're so good. And I really like the cookies and cream ones and the mint ones. Those are super good. I mean, regular vanilla is good too, but these cookies and cream ones are just extra good. And I wouldn't think that a mint ice cream sandwich would work very well, but man, the one at the grocery store, it's just like the grocery store brand too. It's so good. So I just had to have one before starting class today. You guys have any of these in your fridge or your freezer? I definitely recommend one today. It's a good day for it. Well, I mean, every day is a good day for it, but today especially. Anyway, I guess I'm going to finish this up and we can get started with class today.
Welcome back, Fantasy Fiction Fanatics. It's good to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to be doing another character analysis, and this one is going to be on Flint Fireforge. So hopefully you guys will enjoy talking about Flint with me today. But before we go ahead and jump in to our character analysis, let's go ahead and cover our trivia question as always. So thank you again to everybody who has participated in the trivia question. I hope that you guys all have fun with me putting out these questions and you guys getting a chance to answer them. Last week's answer was false. It was a true or false question, and answer was false. And then correct participants we had were Paul, Brendan, Christian the Mythology Pendant, Noobmasters69, and Troy. So congratulations to everyone who got it right. If you would also like to join in on the trivia question, you're welcome to do so. Just go ahead over to the website, fantasyfictionfanatics.net. And if you're on desktop, it'll be on the right-hand side of the page. You'll just have to scroll down just a little bit, and you should be able to see it. If you're on mobile, you will probably have to scroll all the way down to the bottom in order to see it. It should be almost at the very bottom. So yes, if you'd like to join in on those questions, it will be over there, and I always announce the winners of the next week, those who got it right, either on the video, as well as underneath the question, and also in the Discord. So if you're on the Discord, you'll also be able to know if you were right or wrong on there. So thanks again, as always, to everyone who participated. I really appreciate you guys playing with me. Okay, let's jump into the analysis. Flint Fireforge is a dwarf. He's about 150 years old, and he is one of the main characters in the main group of the Dragonlance Chronicles. He's in other Dragonlance stories as well, but that is the main place that we see him, is in the Dragonlance Chronicles. So, yeah, he is definitely a character to discuss. So let's jump right in and talk about his traits. So Flint is a really great character. He's a mix of a little bit of everything. He is very stubborn. He's very crabby sometimes and grumpy. He's definitely kind of old-fashioned kind of character. He's cautious at a lot of the time, but he's also very caring. He's very kind. He's really a softie at heart. He makes it seem like he is a very hard-nosed person, but really he's just a giant softie. And he's also pretty wise. He's definitely an old man in the fact that he is 150 years old. So he's definitely gained a lot of wisdom since then, and definitely shows it through his actions and through what he says. And he's also very loyal. He is super, super loyal to all of his friends and the people he deems as under his care. So definitely a wide range of characters and traits. Go ahead and let me know down below if you feel like I missed anything in that list or anything that's super stands out to you. I would love to hear what you think about Flint and his traits and who you think he is as a person. Okay, so let's move on to his goals. So honestly, I had a hard time with this section for Flint. Not because he doesn't have any goals, not because he's not a character who doesn't have a lot of depth to him or anything like that, but to be honest, Flint seems to be one of the most simple characters in the main group of friends that we have. He's really just there to protect, his main goal is just to protect his friends. And I tried to feel like that there should be another goal in there, or, you know, I was really thinking hard about what else mattered to Flint, but really in the end, he's a very simple character. And the fact that he just cares about his friends, journeys with his friends, wants to protect his friends, he's pretty much just along for the ride because everybody else is going, and he does not want to be left behind and not be there to protect them and to help them when they're in need. So to me, I feel like Flint really only has the one main goal, and that is really to just be with his friends, hang out with his friends, protect his friends, all in the same kind of gist there, is just to be along for the ride, give them his wisdom when he can, and to protect them with his axe. So yeah, I would really love it if you could help me maybe delve deeper and see if there is another goal for him, or what you think is a main goal for him that I am missing. I would love to hear about it. Please let me know. But I think in general, Flint is one of the main characters in this story that's very much what you see is what you get. And he's very much just a simple character who is part of this friend group and is along for the ride. So I really feel like he is just there for his friends, and they're all on this adventure together, and he's just so stubborn that he does not want to be left behind and doesn't want to be there and help them if he knows that he could do that. Like, you know, obviously he could leave, but I don't think he would ever forgive himself for not being there if somebody needed him, or that he could have done something to make a situation better. So he just goes along and is gonna do his best. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into what his role in the story is. And I feel like he has 3 main roles that he takes in the stories that he is in. And the first one, I feel like, is that he is the conscience character. He is constantly the one that is bringing up logic into things, or second guessing ideas that people have, or wondering if there's a better route to take. He's very much not shy about piping up when he feels like things are going south, or that ideas are stupid, or not that he would say necessarily, well, actually he probably would just say that's stupid, but not that he's not going to follow along if he thinks that it's not the best route, but he's definitely the first person to pipe up and be like, are we sure we want to do that? Are you sure that's the good way of going about things? He will add his 2 cents in, and he will be like, well, let's second guess that choice and see if there's a better one. I think part of that is also because he's just, you know, one of the older characters, and he feels like he has experienced more of the world, been a part of the world a lot longer than most of his friends, and so he wants to step up and be like, hey, let's make sure we're being smart about this because none of us want to end up dead. So he's definitely constantly the voice of reason, constantly the person that's putting himself out there to make sure that everybody is on the same page and that they are really making the best choice that all of them, for the group as a whole, as well as the situation that they're in. We especially see this with Tass, and the fact that he is constantly piping up and being like, yeah, we're not following what you're saying, Tass, like, or just trying to give Tass a little bit more conscience to his own actions, and constantly calling him a harebrained kinder. So especially with Tass, we do see that conscious role, but even with Tanis, even with Strum, with anybody else we see this as well. He's very much the conscience when it comes to anything dealing with Razlan, and the fact that he constantly questions whether they should even be listening to him. And so we definitely see several moments when he pipes up and is the conscience of this group of people. Next role that I see him playing is that he is also the father figure. And I think this is kind of a role that Flint gives himself, because he is pretty much the oldest person in this group of people, of group of friends. He obviously, dwarves live longer than humans do and such, so he understands that he is older. He kind of adopts in a way the friends that he has and wants to look after them and cares about them. So he kind of takes on that fatherly role for himself and really cares and wants to look over and watch out for his younger co-adventurers, his younger friends. He listens to them, he understands their worries, and he comforts them when they need comfort. He gives advice when they need advice. He listens to them when they need somebody to listen to them. So he's very much a I will be there for you always kind of character, and definitely I think in many ways he himself sees himself as the older, wiser one, and as a kind of a father figure to them as well. So I really like this about Flint. I really like that he's just someone who just genuinely cares about the people around him and is going to be there for them no matter what, and is going to provide them whatever support that they need, whether it be in battle, or whether it be emotionally, or whether it be tactically, or whatever else, any advice that he can give, any way that he can support them emotionally, physically, whatever else, he is going to be there, and he is going to do that. And for the third role I feel like he plays in this is that he is also a loyalist. And as we mentioned in his traits, he is somebody who is exceptionally loyal. That doesn't mean he doesn't see their faults, that he doesn't understand their shortcomings, that he is not wise enough to understand where people are coming from and why they might make decisions that they do against his better judgment. But he is loyal to a T to all of his friends. He encourages all of them, and he'll stand by all of them, even if they make decisions he doesn't think is right, or even if he wonders if they're going to the wrong path. I mean, even with Razlan, where he clearly doesn't trust him, he clearly isn't sure about him, he doesn't really like magic very much, he's very suspicious about it, very suspicious about him in general, and I mean, there's reasons to be. There's a lot of his friends that also are suspicious, but he doesn't ever not stand beside Tanis for following what he believes is right, when following Razlan's advice. He doesn't ever question Tanis after the decision is totally made, that hey, we're listening to what Razlan says and this is, where we're going. Even if he doesn't think that they should do that, he will go along anyway and be 100% supportive, be 100% loyal, and even doesn't actually reject Razlan like fully. I mean, in the fact that he doesn't trust him, but it's not like he tries to get him. I mean, I guess in a way he does kind of tries to get him kicked out of the group, or like say we shouldn't follow him. But if Razlan needed him, he would be right there beside him with his axe ready to take the person down. Sorry for the barking in the background. But he would be there ready right away if that was needed. I don't think that he would even second guess anything either. He would just show up and be next to him, even though he's not 100% certain about him, because he is in his friend group and he is trusted by Tanis. And he's that kind of guy who, even though sometimes on the outside and even though his opinions differ, he would still stand beside him and help him if he needed it. So I definitely feel like Flint is just as loyal as many of the other characters that we have seen and talked about in previous analysis for Dragonlance, that he is definitely there for good, and there's nothing that you can do to take him away. In fact, that is one of the reasons why he dies, is that he is pushing himself further and further and harder and ignoring his health, his personal health, because he wants to be there protecting his friends and standing beside them, and will be loyal to them to the very end. So definitely feel like being a loyalist is one of the big aspects of Flint. Please let me know if you think I got anything wrong, any questions, comments, concerns with his role in the story, or anything that you think I missed, anything that deserves an honorable mention, anything else, let me know. And on the flip side, I guess you could say, or kind of in conjunction with this, is what does he bring to the story? What does he actually... So we have his roles and we understand the kind of person that he is, but what does he actually do for the story, and what is his aspect that he brings into the story? Well, part of it is comedy. And this might be kind of surprising in the fact that he is very much a very grumpy, no-nonsense kind of character, very crabby character. So you would think, how is he the one that's bringing comedy to the book? But really, this is mostly in conjunction with Tass. Not always, but a lot of the times it is in conjunction with Tass, and Tass is very much a comedic element of the Dragonlance. But Flint is, the one that Tass plays off of. And so the two of them together playing off each other is what is making the humor and the comedy. So in a lot of ways, Flint is also bringing comedy to the story, because he is the one that is jumping off of Tass and also making what Tass does seem funnier at times, because we have Flint being angry about it, or being annoyed by it, or whatever else. And so the reaction that Flint has to Tass and how annoying Tass can be is a lot of times bringing the comedy. So he is not directly a comedic character like Tass is, but with the conjunction of Tass or Fizbin or other comedic elements that are happening, he is also bringing comedy, lightheartedness to the story. Like especially when Flint and Tass are on the dragon in the middle of the war, and Flint is just not getting on the dragon originally. He's having to work his courage up to it. But then when he's on there and Tass is the one all excited and like doing all the fighting, and Flint's just like yelling at him and trying not to throw up because he feels like he's gonna fall off the dragon. That's a very comedic scene and a very comedic moment. But he's not a comedic character, but in comparison with Tass and like the things that are happening around him and how he's feeling about things is very comedic. I mean, it's even comedic about the fact that he doesn't like boats. And every time he is crabby about getting on a boat or saying you'll never be on the boat, or the whole situation when he describes why he doesn't like boats and almost drowning because of Caramon, it's all brings a lot of comedy, or at least a lot of lightheartedness. Even if it's not a full belly laugh, or you bursting out laughing while you're reading it, you still probably smile or feel the tension of whatever lift, because Flint is being crabby about something, because he is reacting to Tass and his annoyingness, or anything in between. Just, he does bring a lot of lightheartedness to the story. The next thing that he brings to the story is relatability. I feel like in a lot of ways, Flint is one of the most relatable characters that there is. Not saying that you can't relate to any other characters, but I just feel like he is the most down-to-earth character, the most grounded in reality, the most kind-hearted, but also has
those where he's very expressive about the things that annoy him. That, you know, a lot of times are things that, you know, you probably are thinking inside, but he's the one that gives voice to them. So I feel like in general, he's the one that you can be like, I just totally get Flint and where he's coming from and why he's acting the way he is, or relating to the things that he says, relating to his position in the group, how, you know, he's not really the center of the group. He's not one of those really hard standout characters like Tass is, as the main comedic source who's always bouncing around the walls, or Tanis, who is the leader of the group, or Raslin, who's, you know, the mage of the group and is the outcast of the group in many ways. So we have many characters that are more prominent in the group, and Flint isn't necessarily one of those characters, but that doesn't make him any less amazing. He kind of is, and I think that's why he's more relatable, is that we see a lot more of ourselves in Flint, and we see his logic and we hear his thoughts and his feelings on things, and we understand that he connects to the people around him. So I just feel like in general that Flint really brings somebody that you can connect to on a basis that's more than just feeling like you understand where the character is coming from. You actually feel like, hey, you have a lot of qualities that are similar to Flint, and many people probably relate to a lot of the qualities that he has there, or wish that they could be the person that is grumbling about things, or understands what it's like to grumble about things, who knows what it's like to have friends that make choices that they don't think they should make and is just going to stand by and be supportive because that's what you have to do. Or that somebody, you know, you connect to the fact that he's a father figure who cares about his friends and wants to protect them and help them out and is making decisions based on that. Or even just being, you know, the person that's in a group of friends that's not the standout person and just sits on the side and is supportive and does what needs to be done because you care about the people, even if you're not, you know, the glue that holds everybody together kind of stuff. So I feel like Flint has many aspects to himself just by being him, and just by being in this group of friends and us seeing his personality and hearing his thoughts. And there's a lot of things that a lot of people, I feel like, can relate to. He's kind of the average character. I don't mean that in the fact that Flint is not an average person at all. He's definitely an amazing character and definitely an amazing guy, but in many ways he's the closest thing that you have to like an average everyday kind of person. And I think that that really brings a lot of relatability, a lot of easygoingness to the group, and it gives the reader a chance to really connect with him in many more ways than some of the other characters, and to really kind of present you into the story by his point of view and with what he does and how he feels about things. So he gives you that lightheartedness, but he also gives you a way to enter into the story and to feel like you're part of the group, because you feel like you totally understand and relate to Flint, and you really see where he's coming from and what he's doing and why he's doing the things that he is. Please let me know if you feel like he has any other main roles in the story, or what he brings to the story, and how you feel about the relatability of Flint. I would really be interested to know if he's the one that you connect with the most, or if one of the other characters is more relatable in your opinion. Okay, now let's go ahead on talking about Flint's relationships, because he's got a couple really prominent ones that are really important to his character, to who he is, and to his actions throughout the story. And this one will be no surprise, because we talked about him already in being a duo, and that is Tass. Flint and Tass are paired together for a lot of the story. And they are definitely an inseparable duo. I mean, I know for a while Tass goes off with Fizbin, and in many ways they are quite a duo as well. But Flint and Tass have this unbreakable bond between them. That seems like on the outside, from somebody who would have no prior interaction with them, might think that they have nothing in common, that they have no
real love for each other, that Tass just annoys Flint, and Flint just is always annoyed with Tass, and that he has constantly just feeling like he is babysitting. But that is completely not the case. It truly is not the case. And as the more you see them interact together, the more you have mention of things that they do together, of what is said between them on how they both feel, Flint, especially on Flint's side, Flint is hands down, in my opinion, closest to Tass out of anybody else in the group. Now you might be saying, whoa, what about Tanis? And yes, we will be talking about Tanis, and in many ways he's very close to Tanis as well. But in my personal opinion, I think Tass is much closer to Flint, especially on Flint's side of the duo, than him and Tanis, because Tass is just that extra special person for Flint. He just really connects to Tass, even though it seems like he doesn't. They both are just... It's almost an indescribable relationship, in my opinion. I'm even struggling for words right now, and I have written notes about what I think their dynamic is. But the essence of the relationship, I think it's very hard to describe, especially since, emotions in many ways are always hard to describe. But really, I feel like that what Flint and Tass have is something that is indescribable. There is no reason that Flint should be so close to Tass, and there is no reason that Tass should be so close to Flint. I mean, they're very different people. But sometimes opposites do attract, and Flint absolutely loves Tass. There is no doubt in, I'm sure, anybody's mind that's read the books, that Flint truly loves Tass. Even if he is annoying and gets under his skin and makes him have to do a bunch of work, or even if he feels like he has to shepherd him around and babysit him sometimes, and calls him a harebrained kinder, that does not mean that Flint does not absolutely love Tass with all his heart. It just truly thinks that Tass is a wonderful person. That even with all of his craziness and all of the stuff that he gets under his skin, that he just knows Tass has such a pure heart and is such a good guy. And they just have this relationship that it's like, it was established before the Chronicles and lasts much longer after Flint is gone. Yes, Flint doesn't always take Tass seriously. Yes, Flint sometimes is pretty harsh in what he says to Tass. But it isn't that he really minds Tass at all. I mean, there's a lot of times that Flint just tells Tass how hard he's making his life and fusses at him, and as I said, tells him to his face, like, you're so annoying. But really, it's all an act. He's such a soft. This is where proof that Flint is such a softie. And the fact that he grumbles and complains and points fingers about whose fault is what and who should be doing what and not, but really, a lot of it's just that. It's just an act. It's just to be able to fuss at something because you like fussing about something. But really, he doesn't mind all that much at all. They're a very special friendship between the two of them, and this is shown how much Flint loves Tass in the fact that Flint dies, but we see him sitting underneath a tree in the afterlife, carving away at some wood, complaining about how a kinder is making him wait to go on this next big adventure. He has to wait for Tass to join him before he can move forward with his afterlife and go on the next big adventure that is death. And we do know when Tass does finally pass away, we have that moment where Tass joins Flint, and of course he grumbles and groans that he made him wait too long. and that he is mad about that. But then they both go off together on the next great adventure. And that just shows how special Tass is. He doesn't wait for Tanis, he doesn't wait for Strum, he doesn't wait for anybody except for Tass. He is sitting under that tree determined to wait for that Kinder that never thinks of anybody but himself. But he doesn't mind, really, in the end. All he wants to do is go on an adventure with his very best friend ever. Just that person that makes life a little bit better. I'd really love to know about your thoughts on Tass and Flint's relationship. This is something that I actually think is something I would really like to talk about. Of course, many of you know I always like talking about Tass because Tass is my favorite character, one of them. But I do really feel like Tass wouldn't be the same without Flint, and Flint wouldn't be the same without Tass. So I do think that it would be really interesting to hear your thoughts and opinions, especially if you think I missed something or if I should have mentioned something in more depth. Let me know. And then next is going to be his relationship with Tanis, which I believe he is also very close to Tanis. He is the next closest person he's closest to. But his relationship with Tanis is a little bit different than his relationship with Tass. Okay, it's completely different. Not just a little bit, but completely different. And he's really close to Tanis for different reasons. Tanis is his oldest friend. Oldest is in number of years, and oldest is in how old Tanis is compared to the other friends that he has. And so in the relationship that him and Tanis have is about relatability. Tanis understands a lot more about where Flint's coming from, understands Flint more in the sense that they are both older people, both older souls, both understand things that the others who are younger and have only lived a human lifespan, or less than a human lifespan, actually, since they haven't died, are aware of and understand and relate to. So they are much more similar in age. They have gone through more experiences. They have gone through the same experiences together that both make it more of a mature relationship between the two of them. They're the ones... Flint would talk to Strum about the same thing he's talking to Tanis about, and Strum wouldn't get it. But he knows he can talk to Tanis and that he will understand. They're very much more of the older, serious, more experienced people in the group, and so they have a special relationship themselves, a special friendship, in the fact that they both understand each other really well. They both know where each other's coming from. They both get each other in the ways that other friends don't. And that is very special for Flint because he feels like he has somebody to relate to. And Tanis also, I'm sure, feels that he has somebody to relate to. So certain issues he only brings to Tanis and he only discusses with Tanis, or certain thoughts he only brings up to Tanis because he knows that only Tanis will understand. So they are also both very close and have a very special bond between Flint and Tanis. Their relationship is another one that's very unshakable, even though Flint knows Tanis' feelings for Kitiara, and even though he understands that it is very likely that he would go to the dark side for Kitiara, he never judges Tanis for it. He never thinks poorly of Tanis for it. He doesn't hesitate when Tanis is back and he finds out that he's not actually with Kitiara. He's just most upset with the fact that he let Laurana, who is Tanis' love, slip through his fingers, and is more concerned and worried about the fact that he lost her. That's the big thing, is that he let Tanis down. He is so extremely loyal to Tanis and would do anything for him, even though he understands and sees the faults that Tanis has. But he just truly loves Tanis, truly feels a bond with him, and would do anything he can for him. And so that shows with the relationship between Tanis and Flint how deep that goes. Is that even with knowing the problems that Tanis has, knowing the faults that he has, he still does his best to be loyal and to look after the people that he knows are most important to Tanis, aka Laurana. And Flint, in many ways, has a semi-special bond with Laurana in the fact that he is very much tries to counsel her, very much journeys with her, tries to put things in perspective with her. But I do think a lot of his relationship with Laurana, though, is naturally, with him spending time with her and is built. I do think he also feels a lot more responsibility to Laurana in the fact that he's looking out for her for Tanis. And so she is especially special to Flint in the fact that he's watching over her for Tanis and wanting to keep her safe for Tanis. So he's such a good guy. And then the relationship that he has with his group of friends in general is the last relationship I'm going to go ahead and talk about. And other than Razlan, he gets along with pretty much everybody. He doesn't have any specific problems with Caramon, Strum. Obviously, he's close to Tanis and Tass, even though he likes to pretend that he has a lot of problem with Tass. But he pretty much is just an easygoing guy, gets along with all of them, cares about all of them, is loyal to all of them. He's, loyal to Strum, he's loyal to Laurana, he's loyal to Razlan even, and Caramon. He's loyal to everybody in the group, and he gets along with everybody except for Razlan. But Razlan doesn't really get along with anybody, except for maybe Tanis. He doesn't even get along with his own brother. And he doesn't totally get along with Tanis either, but they have a little bit more of a something. They stand each other a little better. So we can't really blame Flint for the fact that he does not trust or get along with him, but he is still loyal to him even so. And everybody in the group all trusts Flint. Even Razlan trusts Flint in the fact that he knows who Flint is and how loyal he is and that he would be there if he needed him. The only thing is that Razlan would refuse to acknowledge that he needed him in any way, shape, or form. So that's a little different. But everybody in the group trusts Flint, knows that he's going to be there. He is this one strong person in the group that everybody knows that if they need somebody or they need something, Flint will be there. No questions asked, nothing. Flint will be there to back you up, to protect you, to help you, whatever it is. Everyone in the group knows that Flint is like the rock of the group. He is going to be there and he will stand by you without doubt. He will be there. If you need something from him, he will do it. If you're in a battle, he will have your back. Whatever it is, he is the one that you can trust and rely on, and he will get things done. That's kind of, why he's so torn up about, losing Laurana is because, not only because he loves Laurana as well, but because, he's the one that Tanis trusted to keep her safe and to make sure she's going to be okay. And he can never forgive himself for letting it slip through his fingers and to be in danger and to not be fulfilling what he feels is his part of what he's supposed to be doing. So, definitely is just a great guy. He kind of, in many ways, he's very unassuming. In my opinion, just talking about him in general, is he's not the standout character in the group. He's not the one with all the focus on him all the time. There are other characters that have a lot more focus on them. We've got Tanis, we've got Razlan, we've got Tass, we've got Laurana when they're split up, that, Laurana becomes the leader. So he's always kind of in the background, but that doesn't make him an unnotable character. It doesn't make him any less. It just makes him the solid, reliable character that we can relate to and that we see the moments that he brings. We can tell when he stands forward, it is seen, because for the most part he just hangs back and just does what needs to be done when things need to be done. He's the reliable character that is a little unassuming at times, a little bit underappreciated at times too. I feel like I don't think he gets enough acknowledgement that he deserves. But then you really see him shine when he steps forward and he steps into that spot and is like, I've got your back, I'm gonna do this thing for you, or whatever it is, I'm gonna be there to comfort you, I'm gonna give you advice. Whatever it is that comes up, he is there, and he really does shine in all of those moments. Okay, well, I think that is it on my thoughts for Flint Fireforge. Please, of course, let me know if you think I missed anything, if there's anything else that you would like to talk about, if I'm completely wrong in your opinion on anything. Please let me know. I would love to have a discussion with you and to learn with you as always. I really do appreciate you pointing out new perspectives so that I can have that perspective as well and maybe look at things differently than I expected to. So again, please comment down below for any comments or anything that you'd like to say. I'd love to hear from you. If commenting down below is not the best place for you, you're also welcome to head over to Twitter, which is at FantasyFiction1. You can go ahead and reach me there, as well as seeing all my updates and stuff like that on there. You're also welcome to follow me on Facebook, which is also /FantasyFiction1. I do update on there as well, and you're welcome to message me. I'd love to have a discussion with you. Please, please, please. Would love to hear from you. Also, if you'd like to get a hold of me, or if you'd like to discuss Dragonlance characters or anything else with other fantasy fanatics, you're welcome to join the Discord, which your link to the Discord will be down below. You are welcome to click on it and join. We already have several other people over there. Many of them love Dragonlance as well. And we all get together and talk about Dragonlance. We talk about other fantasy books. We talk about things that aren't fantasy related and just life related. All kinds of things. It's all on there. We can all talk together, chat together. We're already having a good discussion over there about all kinds of things. So if you would like to join in and hear other people's thoughts and ideas about fantasy and want to have a good time, we would love to have you join our little community on there. It would be great to have you. And of course, you can reach me on there as well, since I am over there all the time. So hopefully we will see you over there soon as well. If you want more content from me, or if you want different content from me, you are welcome to head over to the website, which is fantasyfictionfanatics.net. That has blog posts from me about a whole bunch of different topics. We've got book reviews, book suggestions, my favorites, personal things about me and fantasy, discussions that I have on broad topics of fantasy and reading, all kinds of stuff like that. There's the trivia question over there. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter and get monthly updates on everything, you can do that over there as well, whatever it may be. I do have a contact form over there as well if you would like to reach me that way, or email, which is listed down below. So I'd love to hear from you, and I hope that I do. And yeah, I guess I will see you in the next class, and I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.